Boom, boom, boom. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live, my friend. Look, I'm gonna be laid back, Jay Zilla, today. You ready for that?
I'm ready for it.
No, I'm trying to be more tone. Look at me. You ain't never seen me brush my face. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
On
yeah.
camera. On
Let's
camera.
let's let them
person
see
he
how we
calls
do
it.
this. Look, we don't just show up like this. We had to make it this way.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Hold on. Check out this knot, though. Come on, man. Come on.
Now, that is nice. That I don't know how to do. That I gotta study up on that.
Absolutely. Someone asked
That's
me.
the Windsor. That's the Windsor.
The Windsor knot. Yes, of course.
Windsor.
Come on, man.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's right. Real G's know. So listen, what do you know about Kevin Samuels?
What do I know about Sir Kevin Samuels? I mean, I saw a video or two. You know what I mean? I definitely took a play out of his book here or there. You know, I know a little bit about the man.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has some interesting things to say, some interesting theories.
Like what, Rich? Like what? See, almost went to, hyper mode.
You know, for one, just being prepared. Being prepared. And there's a lot of different ways to be prepared. You know, be prepared physically, mentally, financially. You know.
Right. Well, I know one of the most controversial things about this guy is him asking a lady what her rank was between 1 and 10, and you cannot use 7. Right? No.
So 7 is too traditional. Everybody's a 7. Is that what he's saying?
No, he said you can't, because everybody uses 7 because nobody wants to put themselves in too high of a class. Hello, Miss Phil, y'all. Hello, the captain. Look at that. Look at y'all. Wow, you gotta love the black verbiage, man. Look at y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Classing it up for the memorial of Mr. Kevin Samuels. Hello, gentlemen. How are y'all? We are very well. Thank you, Miss Phil, y'all. But yeah, most controversial thing he said, right? Rate yourself 1 to 10, can't use a 7. And the girl goes, I'm about a 4 or 5 until, I beat my face and put my hair on, and then I'm a 6. Okay. And he said, okay, how much you weigh? She says, I'm right around 189, 200, somewhere around there. How tall are you? 5'9". He's like, oh, you're a running back. That's the same size as Emmitt Smith and Barry Sanders.
Deion Sanders, yeah. Hey.
Yeah. And man, it set the internet ablaze. But he has some interesting things to say. What's up, Josh Turner? We need double digits in here tonight, because we have some very important issues. Where are the ladies? Because we're going to come at it from a male perspective, and we always want to...
Yeah, man, bring your sisters on here. Somebody asked me a question. Where your sister?
Where your auntie? Now, first of all, we need more dudes, though, don't we? Like, I want to have overwhelming dude numbers and then kind of force the ladies from our conversation to speak up, angrily or otherwise. All right. You know what? Matter of fact, I got just the guys. Don't you worry about it. Hang on. All right. Well, welcome back to Urban Academia. I'm your host, Jay Zilla. My other host over here to my left is Mr. Chulo Rich. We have Mr. Kyle Robinson and David Popiden in the house. Introduce yourselves, fellas.
I'll go first, I guess. Oh, well, heck. Because you were muted. Go ahead, Kyle. You go ahead.
Yeah, I gave the shot. Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me pretty good?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm Kyle Robinson. I'm the executive director of the Adolescent Redemption Project. It's a prison reform initiative in Michigan. I'm also the creator of AmplifiedSilencePodcast.com. It's a platform that gives prisoners an opportunity to circumvent the barriers inside of prison to communication with their families and loved ones, giving them access to things like social media and whatnot. So check it out. That's AmplifiedSilencePodcast.com.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's awesome, bro.
Very cool.
Mr. Popiden.
Yes, my name is David Popiden. I'm the host of the Fermenting Opinions podcast. We talk about politics and philosophy of religion primarily, and whatever else that might interest me just kind of in the time. As the tagline goes, it is the podcast in search of a more palatable political ferment. in search of other things that are more palatable, I also co-host the Whiskey Rebellion barcast. It's actually based out of Columbia there as well, and we talk about drinking, and we don't talk about politics.
Rebellion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh wow, that sounds wild, there, my boy.
Yeah.
You got to give me a little something about that. Now that's kind of.
Yeah, basically, we come on, we talk about what bottles we found, where, like, what are you drinking tonight? And we show up and we say, hey, I've got this. It's, aged this. It's this proof and it's that. These are the tasting notes. Here's how I feel about it. Here's what's going on in the industry, so on and so forth. Sometimes we just screw around and have a good time. And sometimes it's more like academic type conversation. You're drinking Seagram's extra dry. I have the hardest time getting into gin. And here's the other thing. And I'm just
hold on, man.
Talking about
hold on,
I
man.
drink them neat.
Hold on, man. Mr. Samuels would reach down and slap the shit out of you for displaying that bottle and saying his name. Come on, man. Don't show nobody that goddamn bottle.
First of all, it's a very contrary to popular belief.
They call that bumpy face in the hood in Detroit. That's what they call it.
But the bottle is so nice.
Is it really good though? I feel like I gotta get you to try something that's like.
Let's get him some Bombay. Really, you're gonna drink gin. Let's get you some Bombay.
I've done the Bombay stuff. I've done the tequila stuff, like Patron and all the other stuff. Like, it don't really taste different. I go by what I like. Now, you're saying that he will reach up from his grave.
Come on, man.
Slap me for that bottle.
Give you an elbow, something.
Here's what I think. I think he will commend me for just being myself. He always talks about being genuine.
You could be right.
Who that podcast up there? What up, gangster? What's up, Jasmine Adams? Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. That's right. We're all over the place, that government. She says Malibu rum all the way. Okay.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. And in-house, we have our Mexican brethren, Mr. Manny Garcia. And he's going to be chiming in every now and then in Spanish. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Manuel García. A mí me gusta el tequila, sausa.
I understood tequila.
That's right. That's right.
I understand all about tequila.
Us too. That's
like
right.
Tequila. Yeah, tequila es lo mejor.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be chiming in Spanish only. Go ahead and get used to it now. So, listen, Kevin Samuels. You guys don't know much about him, which is probably a good thing. I'm not gonna lie to you. But one of the things he did was he highlighted, different fragrances. He was always trying to keep men smelling good, looking good, whatnot. So that's why we're in the suits, as opposed to our traditional wear, which are usually t-shirts. Except Rich. Rich is even a t-shirt looks way better than I do. But the candle I'm highlighting here is called Warm Leather and Amber. Yeah, warm leather.
Warm leather.
That's the candle.
Amber.
So I'll be drinking out of that candle before I drink that gin, probably.
Y'all gonna stay off my gin. Y'all gonna stay off my gin.
I gotta help you. We gotta get together sometime.
The other thing he would do is go ahead and highlight a fragrance. Mr. Rich, what you got for us?
I don't have a candle. I do have a fragrance for you. Let's see. I like right now. Bottle's almost empty, as you can see. So I've been really feeling my that's the Dolce.
Dolce.
And the Burberry. We're about halfway through that one. I like that one as well.
Burberry cologne. I like it. What's up, Mr. Jude? Mr. Jordan Bills? Are you actually gonna come on with a question, man? Or are you gonna hide in the comments as usual? What is the deal? He said, "Who granddaddy is this?" I know I look more like a deacon than a player.
Yeah.
She said that candle
never
was
wrong
cute.
with being a
Thank
deacon.
you. Now my fragrance is gonna be, I don't know if you can see that or not, but Eternity for Men.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and get some.
I actually have that going.
Okay.
Right. Oh yes, it's very nice. Very nice.
Hey,
pay us.
Scratch and sniff, right?
Pay us. Scratch and sniff this one.
That's right.
I'll tell you what. But yeah, so we're trying to figure out values. And not just in relationships, whether it be friendships, enemy ships, or whatever the ships, right? We're also talking about community and all this sort of thing. But we want to start with Kevin Samuels because he stirred up such a hornet's nest and then tragically passed away. But he did die like he lived. Are you familiar with how he died, sir?
All I know is he was found unresponsive in his hotel.
Yeah, there was a young lady with him.
He overcame himself?
Yeah, well, I think he may have just put too much. You know, he's putting too many things.
I never
together.
heard it
I'm
put
not sure.
that way before. He overcame
That is
and
a-
stuff.
That is an old joke.
That's an old-
That is an old joke.
Well, someone did call his granddaddies in the chat, man. I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, I'm gonna burn up.
It might have been me. I don't know.
That's right. Look, Glenn Spill, y'all says that smells good, Jay Zilla. That's right, that gummit.
Yeah.
That is right. She says Amber is my favorite stone. Okay, so Kevin Samuels, he had many jobs. He was an engineer. He was overweight. He was trying to holler at ladies that he would consider out of his outside of his level. And so he wanted those women. So he started researching like a madman. Like, what do they want? What do those caliber women want? And so what he did was he built himself up. He left the corporate world, started his own thing in fashion and advice and like I guess some sort of therapy. And what's up, Jessica the Motivator from YouTube? So yeah, he's just a guy who, you know, fat, out of shape, ugly. These are his words. And he started, you know, washing his face, getting a nice cut. I think he had the spray on hairline and all that stuff. Started wearing suits instead of sweatpants and t-shirts. Right? Shouts out to me and my style. And lost a lot of weight, got himself fit, got him a black belt, and I think jiu-jitsu or taekwondo, one of those. And after he did that, he had no problem with those ladies. So people,
With the Taibo class.
Taibo class, right? People, she said therapy, no sir. Yeah, someone who's familiar with Mr. Samuels' work.
Oh.
All right, Jazz, we'll drop that link here in a little bit, man. You get yourself ready. So he did all that, and so women and men flocked to him to try to figure out, hey, how did you do it, and how can I do it? Now, I feel like he said some crazy things, and at the same time, he made some good points.
Nope.
But we humans are genetically predisposed to literally looking at the negative, because back in the day, the negative could kill you, right? Oh, you got a cough? I'm gonna pay extra attention to. Hey, there's a snake in the grass. We gotta focus on that instead of the 10 million things that are being done on a daily basis that are positive actions. So I say to you, is he the GOAT?
I think he was just a big thing at the time, man. He was a guy that said he was a straight shooter. You know what I mean? I think they call all the straight shooters out, no matter what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It don't really matter what you're saying. If you're saying it straight and you're standing on it, you know, you're gonna make somebody feel some kind of way. You know, and I think, you know, it's hard to rebuttal a black woman sometimes, especially groups. You know what I mean? So hey man, when you can rebuttal a group of black women, hey man, it's what it is.
All right, Mr. Popiden, what are your thoughts today? You just had a show, right?
I just had a show on value and purpose. I did it yesterday, actually. It's on YouTube. Has not been edited yet to end up on my RSS feed. There's another little self plug, but Fermenting Opinions, check us out on iTunes, Beyond Pod, wherever else you get your podcast stuff on. That episode is going to be dropping soon. But yeah, regarding just the topic of values, like I'll have to freely admit here that I don't really know much about Kevin Samuels. Like, I basically have caught like one tiny little blurb. He was controversial. Sounded like he did like the ultra masculine thing and like basically cleaned himself up so he could present to, I don't know if you want to say more type A or more successful, more attractive type women, what have you. And he died of what, a heart attack in a hotel room messing around with a young lady. Is that about the size of it?
That's about the size of it.
I guess
the question.
Yeah,
I think the question is more so: can we extract the wisdom and leave the pain behind? Right? Because we're not here to bash black women.
No. I'm not here trying to bash anybody. I guess
not you. I'm saying me and Rich. We already get some questions in the chat.
Okay. My thought is this: is that the way I live my life, I want to look back and be happy with the things that I've done. Not necessarily like, have I checked some box that says I'm keeping up with the Joneses. Do I have a big, nice house? Do I have a fancy car, nice clothes, beautiful, arm piece kind of trophy wife, whatever? Like, I can say these things, and society tells me that those things are validating to me, or that like I've been some big success. But if I haven't created real meaning in my day-to-day life, and if I haven't done something that lasts in the lives of other people, then to me, I didn't value the right things. I would wonder, again, I know almost nothing about this Kevin Samuels guy. If he could look back now, knowing how his life ended, would he be happy with the actions that he took up to that point?
Well, probably not mixing the specific amount of drugs, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the first one, right? I shouldn't have done that. I should have left that other pill alone.
Man, so
but like beyond that,
yeah.
I mean, to look deeper, like, is that really how he wanted to spend his last days?
Well, I don't think he would have wanted nobody talking about him dying of drugs and shit after he was sitting up there cleaned up, talking all that extra shit he was talking. That's not really that don't go together. It's not fitting. But I mean, he said some good shit though. He definitely said some things that make you think twice. You know what I mean? Some things that, if you listen to him, they're not gonna hurt you. You know what I mean? He wasn't telling you something that was gonna hurt you.
Right.
Basically, just get your shit together.
Right. So again, I asked, can you extract the wisdom and leave the pain behind? And that's what we're trying to do, extract the wisdom for that. And we can touch on some other more serious things like this shooting. But first, we have to address a couple of these questions here. I like Miss Phil y'all's question, but we'll start with Miss Jessica, the motivator. She says, this is for Chulo Rich. What's the best part of dating you?
Best part of dating me? I don't know. I would oh no, I'm a nice guy. I don't know. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. I make things better. That's the best part of dating me. I make things better. Whatever it is that is there, I'll take it and improve that a little bit. Whatever idea you had, or gonna do a function, I'm gonna add a little something to that function you wouldn't have been able to think of. You know what I mean? Just a little shit.
Right. I like that. Mr. Popiden, what would you say about yourself?
What the best part of dating me is?
Yeah. Say yourself, my man.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm happily spoken for. I'm going to clear that up quickly. But I would say the best part of dating me is that I make my partner my priority in my life. And it's not a sacrifice. I can take care of my stuff, my own needs, my own priorities. But I do also make my partner my priority. And she knows that every day.
I hear that.
Here. I'm happy spoken for as well. I say the best part about dating me is it's not gonna be boring. It won't be boring. I guarantee you that. So it's one of those things of I'm constantly talking, constantly thinking, all this stuff. And my wife, I happen to marry the exact perfect person for me, because she's very quickly to shut all that down and tell me, hey, get to the point. So yeah, I don't know. It's not boring. Like, you'll never be just like, oh, we didn't do anything crazy today, good, bad, or ugly. It won't be boring. So
that's right.
The next question goes to Miss Phil, y'all. She says, what's wrong with masculinity?
Ain't nothing wrong with it. But there's definitely a way to present things. You know what I mean? You don't want, you might enjoy a masculine man, but you don't want him coming in there just doing the most. You know what I mean? So there's a line with everything. You know what I mean? It's a line you got to walk. You can be a masculine person, but there's a line between being masculine and dominant. You know what I mean?
What is that line?
I think I think it's in your attitude. It's presentation. You know what I mean? I could say the same thing in 3 or 4 different tones. You know what I mean? And make it mean 3 or 4 different things. So I think as long as it's presented properly, it'll be accepted properly.
Mr. Popiden, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would kind of echo what Mr. Rich had to say there. There's nothing by itself wrong with masculinity. It just is, right? It's not to me, there's not like a moral component. You are masculine, or someone is feminine, then they're feminine. That's whatever, but it's what you do with it. And I think a lot of people dislike masculinity in general because most of the expressions that they've experienced have been, and we've heard the term toxic masculinity before. Like, that's what they're talking about, is someone using their masculinity as an excuse to act less than they know they're capable of. And I think that's really the problem with some people who lean into their masculinity a little too much. Basically say, well, I'm just a man. I can be bad at talking about my feelings and just be really obtuse and rude and whatever, and this is just a for instance, right? But like, when you know better, you do better, right? And I think most of us at this point do know better, at least on some things, and it's using masculinity as an excuse to not do better than. I think that's the problem, if there is one really, with masculinity per se.
Yeah, so
there you go, what Jasmine said.
A man who is sure of his masculinity doesn't have to be chauvinistic.
That's
right?
true. That's true. And it's the same thing with womanhood, right? Like, I love femininity. Can you have too much feminine energy? Can you come off as a hoe? Giving too much feminine energy? I think it's possible. You know what I mean? So that's probably the same thing with being a man and being a little too masculine. You know what I mean? I can't think of the word. Lumberjack. I don't know, but you can give, giving lumberjack energy. I don't know. Just doing the most.
Hold on, we got a chuckle from our guy. Look, give me some Spanish. What do our Mexican brothers think about this, man?
Bueno, yo pienso que masculinidad, no
Yeah,
sé si lo van a entender, pero masculinidad no es ser un hombre, golpear a una mujer o someterla a sus razones, o ser más grande que una mujer. Masculinidad es llevar a una mujer al cielo, hacerla sentir mujer y hacerla sentir lo más querido del mundo.
Yeah, in the world, you heard that go, man. Right? Communication is key.
I believe him.
I take your word for it that was his word.
Communication is key. Communication is key. So if I'm looking for a specific thing and I'm trying to beat, break, and melt and smoke into what I want it to be versus going to find that thing, it's gonna be some issues. It's gonna be some issues. So if I'm looking for, I don't know, a woman who's a size -8.5, right? Who only says yes, sir, right? I can't go find some strong, independent, feminist woman and try to force her into that mold. Does that make sense? We gotta be okay with doing the work, and that goes with everything, anything of value, right? So I'm trying to figure out how we can get that across, how we can get Mr. Samuel's message across a little bit nicer, right? A little bit more fact-driven, right? Because he was at a point.
I need to watch his videos or something. I feel like I would watch him, and I would have maybe some criticisms. That's what I'm picking up.
I'm not saying that. He just says it like a dick, right? So as a man, you've heard people speak like a dick, but that don't mean they lying.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He didn't tell a lie. He just spoke like a dick. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
let's take a listen here. I've been teasing this.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Let's just take a quick listen.
Does this say worst wife ever calls in for dating advice?
How could I juggle it with getting a high value man back that I felt like I lost because I wasn't in therapy. I wasn't I wasn't ready, and he called it out. He said I needed to get therapy, and I really want him.
Okay. You know what? I am glad you asked this question. How to fix it? Okay. Well, first off, you've already done step one, acknowledging that there's a problem. Acknowledging that you found somebody that could be in the area, and let's just say it nicely, you might have screwed it up. Right?
Yeah.
how to get it back. Well, is the person still single and available?
Thank you,
The
YouTube.
ads.
Sorry, that's directly from YouTube, and of course, I don't have the ads.
Including with the
I'm-
ads, yeah.
Yeah, I'm cheap still. I'm cheap shit.
Gotcha.
We'll go right back to it though.
But there wasn't really anything wrong with his. Did we? Is it?
Oh no, I made the same mistake because I just discovered that he existed last week. At the same time, I learned that he died. So
That's hilarious.
That's right.
just keep listening.
Like that shit.
Approximately how long ago did you guys end your interaction?
A year ago, but he doesn't live in the same state as me.
Okay. A year ago? All right. And he ended it by saying it was ended. He said that you need to get your stuff together.
Yeah, he said literally, I need to get therapy.
Have you done that?
Yes, I've been in therapy from that time. So yes,
All right.
I'm
All
still
right.
in therapy.
All right. And have you learned anything in therapy that would have made a difference in the relationship you had?
Yes, that I have to go from what I see right now. I can't go off of what I've done in the past, and I shouldn't bring it up because he doesn't know about that either. And it was always, I felt like I was giving him too much information where he would be just like, I don't care, don't want to talk about that. And I was like thinking he was mean, but I should never brought those things up because it didn't matter.
Okay.
And
So
he didn't do anything to me.
Hold on. Making men in your present pay for mistakes of your past equals no future. That's what she's saying. Number one. Number two, when men are ready to move forward, they really don't care about all that stuff. They just want to know, is it a problem? So, when was the last time you spoken to this man since your breakup?
I haven't, just over a year since that time, but it's since all that has passed, and I felt like I lost him. I moved on, and I got married, but I don't want to be with
You
him.
got
I
married?
Yeah.
You currently married?
Yes. I'm
Oh.
married, yeah.
No.
And then
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ma'am,
this is the
you
state.
telling me
No, I'm not.
you
You
broke
know,
up? This guy called it out, and and you said you wouldn't gotten therapy, and you're married, and you're actively on
You
a
can go back
platform
to
with a
therapy.
million folks actively talking about leaving your husband to get back with your ex.
Because he's high value, and I felt like
Now, Zilla,
Yeah.
can we also to you, Mr. David?
Yes, sir.
You know, Kevin's somewhat of a dick sometimes. You know what I mean? I say it. You know what I mean? But that's only if you don't understand a straight shooter, right? I heard a lot of shit that woman said, right? That would make me, or I think any man, maybe have some shit to say. You know what I mean? I could imagine what her fucking husband is saying, because I'm certain he's seen this video by now. I'm certain he's seen this video, and she's saying she wants a high value man while she's married, to whomever did all this work and put this ring on her finger. You know what I mean? But some women cannot be satisfied. You know what I mean? I heard somebody say the other day, he was talking about the women that need the all the extra this and extra that. Nothing's actually real. You know what I mean? His look at it was, hell, if God couldn't satisfy you, I don't know what the hell you think I'm gonna do. And I can see that. I can understand that. Some women just, it is what it is, and they don't realize that until it's too late. That's a shame. That's the sad part about it.
Most shocking thing, Mr. Popiden.
I mean, other than the fact that she's on it's just like you said, that she's on this major YouTube channel talking about wanting to get together with her ex while she's still married. Like, when people do stuff like that, I have to wonder if this isn't just like for attention, that someone's just kind of like, basically made up a story kind of thing because like that is like some like Jerry Springer level like ridiculousness. I date myself all the time with this reference. I don't even know if it's still a show, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just that ridiculous.
I think that crazy, man. I do.
And the man with the halo, the golden halo, Mr. Cal Robinson joins the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. I've got to take a test because I'm coming around someone who's immunocompromised. So I'm going to have a mask on for like 15 minutes. So once it's up, I'll take it off.
Okay.
Cool.
I like you being a trooper. Like, no, I said I would be here. And if I got to be on the staircase with a halo of light behind me, I'm going to make sure that I still show up. I appreciate your efforts here, man.
Call him Black Jesus.
I'm not feeling bad about it. Y'all two came out here in suits. Y'all slayed us from the beginning. I'm no longer worried about image.
That's hilarious.
That is nice, man.
So
good. Look, we got Jasmine Adams in the comments and says, "Hello, Black Jesus."
There you go.
So getting the comments, they're talking a little bit. We'll go back to this Honeycutt's comment. I'm gonna start with Mr. Craig Trudeau's.
So
I refuse to believe that was real. Right.
Hey, man, you be surprised, man, with these girls out here, man. And that's why they will be left in some of these bad situations. You know what I mean?
I feel Jasmine's comment here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I get the impression that like, if someone to really come on and say anything that preposterous, like he didn't say anything that anybody else wasn't thinking. Like, he wasn't even mean about it. He was. I mean, I have a feeling that if we kept going, and we probably don't have 4 hours to go through this guy Kevin Samuel's content to find him just being an asshole to somebody. There's if that's real, she's a ridiculous person who obviously needs to work on her own issues. But that doesn't make Kevin better or worse necessarily. But yeah, it's in that situation. Who would really have said anything different? Like, you're what, and you're doing what, and you're on.
You would say that bitch really needs to get back to therapy. Then.
I think she never got out of therapy what she needed to.
She never went. Yeah, she was lying.
I mean, you can go to therapy and waste your time, like,
and not listen,
and not really. So my girlfriend, she's currently studying to become a therapist. She's in her master program for it now, and so I get to learn from like that other side, like how therapy really works. And it's like, if you go and if you don't like reveal all essentially and allow yourself to be vulnerable and really talk about your deep, dark, ugly shit, like, you're not really gonna understand why you keep screwing up if you are screwing things up in life, like, which got you in therapy in the first place, probably. Like, if you don't do the work, you're not gonna get better. Case in point,
if you're
not
not
married
to
to
be
somebody and you're talking to a YouTuber about trying to get back with your ex because it's a high value man. I don't even know what the hell that means. First of all, high value.
He had more money than the other.
I mean,
yeah. High value mean his pocket run a little deeper than the other nigga pocket. That's what it means. You know.
So she's settled and she's basically admitting it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know what I mean?
And the fact that you even look at partners that way in the first place, like, I mean, everyone needs to like pull their weight. I believe that, but like, just looking at numbers, just looking at finances, and being like, if that's your only gauge of a value of another human being, you're already screwing up.
That's right. Came in wrong, you're gonna leave wrong.
I want to know what our Mexican brethren thinks about this. Real quick, real Spanish break.
Buenas tardes, como les dije, mi nombre es Manuel García, me despido. Desgraciadamente me tengo que ir. A todos mis amigos de habla hispana les recomiendo que escuchen Urban Academia. Puede ser muy beneficioso para su esposa, para su esposo. Y aquí me despido. Hasta luego, mis amigos. Bye.
I feel like he said these hoes ain't loyal.
No, he said men be good to your women. Women be good to your men. Make sure you communicate and make sure you watch Urban Academia. That's what I'm talking about. That's what his brother. Hey,
my God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So yeah, I like how y'all are saying. Well, it depends on what you value. And as far as whether this was real or not, 40% of marriage couples are impacted by infidelity. 40%. Okay, so they exist. They exist, and there exists in this world the ideal of the grass is greener on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. So if you think like, man, I got this high value man, quote unquote high value man, and you think I see two more higher value men walk by, man, I'll probably get them too. Let me upgrade because I feel like they're on my level. And one of the things he always does is try to what he calls level set people, right? You tell me what you rate yourself, how much money do you make, how much education do you got, talk to me about your personality. Now, I watch an obsessive amount of Kevin Samuels, okay? He sunk in a little bit with the suit and whatnot, but I think I only got one night with this. Yeah. Right? But I feel like what he was saying, because I watched some 20, plus minus 5, right? 20 some odd hours of this guy, just trying to get a real feel for who he is. Mm-hmm. If you take like 5 total clips, the ones that went viral, they were always Kevin Samuel destroys black woman. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the only thing that went viral.
And that's what he went viral for. Not the real thoughts and really what he's doing. It's just the fact that, hey man, he able to talk to black women like that. Ain't nobody saying that.
That's right. That's right. You can't do that, man. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. I'm getting hotter just thinking about talking bad about our beautiful black queens out there. But I think we can get to a point where we can at least see that he's fair. Because no one talks about his many hours talking to incels. Right?
He spends a lot. Does he spend a lot of time talking to incels? Because I was about to say,
on it.
This is probably and it relates to, because you mentioned Jordan Peterson, and that, like, I regard people who take this approach to guys like, here guys, here's how you fix yourself, and it's like a bunch of self-help kind of guru type stuff, but it's mostly common sense. Jordan Peterson, clean up your room, stand up straight, take care of yourself, treat yourself like somebody that you're responsible for, because, well, you are. Like, that's all. I mean, none of that's wrong. It's all basically common sense stuff. But where you start to get into problems is when they start pontificating about the conditions of society. He starts talking about forced monogamy and screaming about how the woke left professors, whatever, are ruining everything. And it's like, well, you've lost the plot, man. Like, the incels are incels for a reason. It's their personality. There's nothing like nuts and bolts. It's not about how much money they're making and anything like that. Like, it's the personality, and they want to blame everybody else for the reason they can't get laid. Like, and they're fodder for people like this. I created a tag group, and having nothing to do with Kevin Samuels, but it's what is it? Jordan Peterson is Deepak Chopra for incels. Like, it's basically it. He says stuff that sounds really deep, but it's not. It's common sense shit. Right.
That's it. Hey, but common sense ain't common, sir.
All right.
I mean that's true. It's kind of a
thank you. And look, I'm so glad he
found a way to make money off of it. I guess I should be happy for him.
Yeah, right? But in his defense, he was on YouTube for over, like, I think a couple of decades, right? He's written, I think, his 3rd book, because he says for his first book, he spent years working on that.
Are you talking about Peterson or Kevin?
Peterson.
Okay, yeah.
He spent
his maps of meaning thing, yeah.
Maps of meaning. He spent years working on that, and he said he didn't want to put anything out unless he believed in every single word. Now, what I will say is, incels exist. These extremist groups exist, so we can't just
interviewed incels
ignore
before.
them.
I've talked to them.
Yeah. So, but just like you're talking to them, and you're probably saying a lot of things that just make sense. Like, yeah, man, you probably need friends. Right? Hey, read more.
Go outside, touch grass, get out your damn basement. Like,
yeah.
Were they like self-proclaimed?
That's even better, dude. I'll tell you. So we'll go back. Rewind like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I had one of my live shows. It featured a couple of incels. This dude just got laid, and he still wanted to call himself an incel. Like, he
before y'all go any further. Tell us what an incel is. I'm back here. I just
okay, my bad.
Right.
Hold on, I got the
Right.
actual. So, a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile toward women and men who are sexually active. So basically, like me, if I'm a virgin and I'm upset because I feel like it's only because men are jerks and women are, unrealistic. That's why I'm a virgin. So they take that angst and anger and misinformation and they blow it up as far as it's the world's fault, not mine. And people like Kevin Samuels, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and your local pastor, they all say the same thing. If you want to talk about politics, religion, or money, it all comes back to the same thing: responsibility. Now you can use it towards different genres, but it all comes back to the same thing. If you want to make money, you got to be able to work hard, save, budget, right? Bide your time, take chances when you can afford to, so on and so forth. That's how you build wealth. Warren Buffett, I mean, he still eats at the same McDonald's and buys the exact same breakfast every morning
Shout out to Buff.
with exact change. Exact change, right? That's how you build that. But what they're saying is, I don't want to do the work. It should just happen for me. And because it's not, it's your fault. So what seems like common sense to some people is not common sense to all. So we do need those people saying it. But sometimes we get more wrapped up in how people say things, right?
true.
Jordan Peterson, you can say that I feel like you're right now, David. He's in the great game now, as they say on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He's in the great game now. So now he's got to be more of a contrarian and all these things, right?
Well, sure. I mean, that's how certain people, they make their bones. You were talking about Kevin Samuels destroys such and such. It's the same thing with Jordan Peterson destroys, and it's all the YouTube clickbait headlines, which is why I have a YouTube channel. You guys do as well. I try to avoid using that kind of verbiage because to me it's so cheap and flashy. Again, we're going back to values and like what I value contributing something of substance. That's not going to be every day, certainly for me, but I'm gonna try and I'm gonna make that effort. When you're just going for the most clicks, likes equals money, I mean, to me that's a shallow existence. I don't want to contribute to it.
Right. So, and that's fine. But here's what I'm saying: you got to look.
Consequently, I don't make any money doing this.
Right. But we have to look at the totality of things, right? Jordan Peterson, and we're not here to debate him, right? But I'm saying Jordan Peterson for a long time was just an academic who read a lot and had a lot to say about a very small thing, right? And I feel like he wasn't concerned about money or fame or anything. Those things just sat there. And then he had this back and forth with the LG plus community, right? That kind of shook everybody up. And then of course people do what people do. It's like, hey, who is this guy? Let me go check him out. Click, and all this stuff. And because I'm telling you, I was one of those guys. Who is this prick?
Hey man,
I gotta figure out about him.
This is the internet, man, and one thing about it, infamy is a real fucking thing. You know what I mean? Before anything else, you can become infamous, and then next thing you know, somebody wants to know who you are. You know what I mean? This boy that just did this heinous act in his school, he ain't famous, he's infamous. You understand? But it's gonna make people want to know about him. It's gonna make people look to see who he is and what was he thinking and why. Infamy makes people just as interested as good qualities. It is what it is.
Right. So Cal, you work with Amplified Silence. Tell me a little bit more about that and kind of how do you set people's levels and value system? How do you get everybody on the same page and moving in the same direction?
Do this for me. I'm about 2 minutes from being able to take the mask off. I'd rather say it without my mask, if that's okay.
Okay, no,
Absolutely.
That's fine. Yeah. So,
Absolutely.
what comment questions? Miss Jessica's back. She says, "This is for Jay Zilla." Oh, thank you. What's the best advice? What's the best advice anyone ever gave you?
That's a good question.
Well, you ask questions.
Oh man, let me see.
That's a tough one. I'm trying to think myself.
Okay, my God rest his soul, my grandfather, right, the great Coach John Gale Sr. down there in Fort Worth, Texas. He's a legend. I'll tell you a quick story about him. He played basketball, so I'm the runt of my side of the family, right? So I'm 6'4", my father's around 6'6", my grandfather was around 6'8", 6'9".
Jeez.
Yeah. And so he talked about, playing basketball against the great Jerry West in college, right? Jerry West, for those of you might not know, if you see the NBA logo, that's Jerry West, the logo, right? He says, my advice was the best. Don't lie. You know what? You're right, Craig, but I'm going to shout out my grandfather on this show. Here we go. So he's playing against Jerry West, and then he sees it. He says, it just hit me. It just hit me during the game, Oh, that's what an actual basketball player looks like. Huh. Guess I better go work hard on my degree. Better go get me a fine wife who's okay with taking care of a home, right? And he was an English teacher and a basketball coach for the rest of his life. He realized, like, oh, I'm going to set my own level. I'm going to set my own level. I'm a good player, but I'm not that. I would never be that. So let me find something else to do. So one of his greatest pieces of advice that he gave me was, if you can run, you can play any sport. If you can read, you can learn anything. And so that's why I've kind of taken the heart from him. That was a good question, man.
I like that. And you know what I got from that story? I got from that story, be realistic. Be realistic with yourself. Be realistic with your kids. Some of y'all out there right now, and it's basketball season. You saw him shoot that ball. That's not what they're gonna be doing later on. You understand? Some of them will be. You know what I mean? Everybody. You know what I mean? You wouldn't take that chance with boxing, would you? We put your kid in that boxing ring and let him get, punt.
Right.
Ain't gonna take that same risk and keep lying to his ego, right? So why should we do it in other arenas? You know what I mean? If you see that a child is not really fitting in this arena, pull them out and try them in another arena. There's one that is waiting on, I promise. You know what I mean? And it may be hung up on sports and bullshit that doesn't matter. And
he's coming from it as a coach.
Try different things. Y'all like.
Yeah, he's coming at it from a coaching standpoint, but like that's perfect. I feel like sports is the fairest thing there is, in my opinion. Right? There's not gonna be too many missed tackles on defense or missed shots on basketball or a poor ERA as a baseball pitcher before people just say, nah, man, you gotta go. The coach, the owner, your teammates, everybody. And then you as a player goes, yeah, I suck. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. I'll see you later. Like, I feel like sports is one of the fairest things on the planet as far as I'm concerned. Now, Kyle, we were asking you about sort of the same thing, right? When he says be realistic, that can go either way, right? Be realistic about where you are as a teenager and the parents who are dealing with these teenagers. So talk a little bit about what you do for the people who may just be joining us, and talk to me about your value setting.
Sure. That's broad, so I'll try to be concise. A little bit of an intro to me. I told you about amplified silence. I'm a prison reform advocate. So for people in prison who I find that I can help, that are worthy, generally people who've been in there decades since their teenage years and have been thrown away by society, I try to make sure that they have a voice. I do that through podcasts, through trying to help them publish books, just getting their voice out there, recording them and letting them teach series and put out conversations or podcasts of their own. It's generally related to giving people a voice who don't have one. And that's one of my biggest values.
That's beautiful. You're right, man.
And before we got there,
I was just gonna say I do have to work on being more concise.
I can only do it when I'm conscious of it. I think David had led me to that point by just talking about, what's worthwhile in our time, what's worthwhile in our lives, what's valuable to us. I didn't catch all of the transition over into the parenting role, but it's a question that I'm realistically least positioned to answer because I don't have any children. But just general human empathy drives me to do what I do, because I recognize that these people who've been in for decades, they're still somebody's child. they didn't get a chance to be out here developing, watching YouTube, learning the things that we're doing, figuring out what podcasts are and whatnot. There's still someone's job. So I'm trying to introduce that aspect of human connection and humanity into the prison system. And that's probably a broader scope of my values. I'm sure I got some more. I just can't think of them.
No, that's fine. So let me try to be more concise, because you work with plenty of children, whether you have them, for yourself or not. Some of us are coaches here. I was a coach before I had my first child. So, but we still had a direct impact to that child's life, and therefore his home and the community, thus the city, thus the state, the United States, thus the world. These ripple effects that we always are creating. So can you talk about a time where someone stopped being unrealistic and it helped the child and or parent?
Yeah. I can give you an example of where I was the one who stopped being unrealistic. It was actually what got me into this work a few years ago. I was in Nashville. I was doing a volunteer project with the Oasis Center in Nashville, in which we went into the Davidson County Juvenile Detention Center, where young men are housed. And it's a place for juveniles. So usually people in there are going home. They're coming out. They might go in there and do 10 days, 30 days, but they're coming back out. And because of my own experience, I tend to empathize with the small minority who are not coming back. The ones who know that they're getting tried as adults, they're going to be bound over to the adult prison and court here in a couple weeks. So in this class, where it was myself, Ron White, guy used to play for the Falcons, and a couple of the teachers there at the Juvenile Detention Center, I asked the lady and the rest of the people to let me go talk to the two young men who were going to be bound over to adult court. Both gang members, different gangs, similar profiles, probably looking at multiple decades for something that they don't really comprehend and grasp that they've done. So in a situation like that, I relate to it because that was my experience. So I can kind of see through the fear that they were going through. And what I had to do was actually learn how to be loving. That was the only tool left in a situation that is that traumatic. Love and care and empathy is necessary for people to even hear you. I can't come in there and, oh, life's gonna be great, you're gonna do fine, everything's gonna be great when you get to prison, you'll be out there. No, it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be a long road. I'm not gonna bullshit you. It's taken me quite a little time to get my own life on track, but because of the way that because I didn't sugarcoat it like everyone else did, because I could absorb the weight of what they were looking at, which is the rest of their lives, which we really trimmed the fat out of the conversations that I think most people have with teenagers. They're humans too.
I like it. We got a lot of people saying, like Miss Jasmine Adams is in the chat again saying, death to participation trophies, right?
Yeah.
That brings up.
You really should say death to the boomers who invented them.
Death to the boomers. You know what? Was it the boomers?
It was the boomers. It's the same people as, because I'm technically a millennial. I had to get a point in here. They're like, oh, you and your participation trophy. Like, first of all, I never asked for one ever, right? But I played soccer when I was a little kid. I got to participate. I didn't ask for that. Who came up with that? That generation. It's the same people complaining about people getting them as the ones that invented them.
Damn, they say they give you a problem and a solution at the same time. That's where it on.
I just think some people, if they don't have something to complain about, they'd stop existing. So
that's true.
Learning how to be satisfied with yourself is a skill for life.
My son is, he didn't have something to complain about. I think he might as well just go back to sleep. If you think I had some help, but got a tent put up, man. Probably fit 10, 15 people in there. Find something to complain about. I've never even seen a tent this big. What the fuck? Mansion. The hell are you mad about? You know?
Yeah, you got some technical difficulties there, Mr. Rich. But yeah, so people are talking a lot in the comments about these participation trophies, and it made me think of a good old-fashioned Disney movie, right? So let's take a look at this short clip here.
The ship's unique design suggests that there were no.
Yep, maybe not. Hey, how does it go? Technical difficulties and whatnot.
That's hilarious.
But it's from Incredibles. I'm just gonna have to talk through this. Sorry about that. It's from the Incredibles, and basically, this guy is in a world where superheroes work side by side with the government, and the superheroes are famous and they have their identities kept secret so they can still, you know, live regular lives. One of the two biggest superheroes get married and have a whole family. But what his goal was to make everybody special, and his logic was, if everybody's special, then no one is. So now we've come back to Kevin Samuels, who are asking these women, who, and men too. I keep wanting to say women, but people, asking people, how do you rate yourselves? And people who rate themselves as average, who are looking for somebody who makes $500,000 a year and more, right? He's saying you're being unrealistic. What's wrong with a guy, the local deacon, who's making $50,000 to $60,000 a year and a good guy? Why do you want this guy? And so for the people who were like, no, I just feel like I deserve it. Why do you deserve it, man?
Why?
Because I'm special. You know, I've got a lot to offer. Like, there was one clip, I'm so sad I couldn't find it, where he's asking his woman over and over and over, please tell me, what would you bring to the table for someone who makes $500K a year and above? And she's like, I have a lot to offer. Okay, give me one thing. Well, you know, I've got, you know, so much going on for myself, you know, and like I'm a 10, but I have room for improvement. He's like, ma'am, do you not understand that a 10 is perfect? Perfect. What do you mean you're a 10 and have room for improvement? But this happened with men as well. And then Cal, you know, as he comes back later on, he has some same issues with those teenagers or himself. The idea that I believe that the world has done me wrong and I have the right to give that same energy back to him. So it's a matter of trying to figure out what makes you special, because everybody technically is special. We're genetically different slightly, right? But we have more in common than we don't. So what makes each one of us special is fine. You know, that's what makes us unique. But what makes you stand out? I don't know. I don't know if that's big enough to, you know, attract certain people in certain situations. So I don't know. So we're gonna go as Cal comes back in. What's up, Cal?
Is he coming back in?
Yes.
You got him. There he is.
Mr. Popiden, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the whole concept of giving yourself like a numeric value or something, like rate yourself out of 1 out of 10, or, you know, give yourself some kind of, we lost Kyle again, some kind of rating, you know, on a scale. This is how well am I comparing to other people, right? And we're playing a numbers game. Like we have stats, like we're video game characters or something, right? That, my intelligence is X and my strength is Y and all this stuff. Like I'm rating myself on this scale. And someone talks about they feel like they deserve to be with someone who makes X amount of money. If you're even thinking about a relationship in those terms, you're already fucking up. Like that's sort of the whole problem with it. And honestly, this goes back to incels. This goes back to the kind of advice that's being given to them by either this Kevin Samuels individual or Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, or any of these other type of personalities of saying, well, here's how to improve how you come across superficially so that other superficial people may take interest in you finally. Like, no, like the whole idea. Oh, there's some weird noise. Okay. Get a high quality mint. Okay.
Just push through.
Right, I'm gonna push through. Sorry, I'm like Ron Burgundy with the teleprompter. I see it. I gotta read it. Like I am the worst. But like, just generally speaking, like if you're thinking about what a person contributes in terms of like their financials, do they have a nice car? Will they look good on my arm? Are they a nice dresser? You know, or do they work out all the time? Like if those are the things you're looking at, like they can be earmarks for things that are good or healthy indicators. Like, does somebody love themselves? Are they taking care of their body? Right? Because that's a sign of mental health, right? Because if you don't give a shit about your own wife and your own health, you're not going to take care of yourself. You're going to eat like crap. You're going to drink too much. I drink a little bit, but like drink too much, you don't work out, you know, and your body goes to pot as a result. So when you see that, it's not like, oh, well, they're not a gym rat. They're not going to look awesome next to me. Right. That's the wrong way of thinking. Like, this person doesn't love themselves. There's another problem here. Mm-hmm. That's the correct way of thinking about it, in my opinion. And so, like, when someone doesn't make X amount of money, well, why? What are they doing with themselves? Are they like Kyle? They're out here, like, really trying to change the world and trying to make things better for people who have been left behind. Is like one of the most altruistic and amazing things I've ever heard of anyone doing, right? And then there's somebody else who can make a whole bunch of money, and there's just an asshole. Like, why would you want to spend your time with a person like that over someone like that? And again, Kyle, I don't know if you're single or not, or what you're looking for. I'm just trying to put you out there, man. Like, you're a good dude.
Right. Look at him. Hold on.
Yeah, there he is. He's like, come on.
Sorry. Go ahead, Kyle. I want you to answer that. Then we'll get to a comment.
I can't follow that. I can't follow that.
That was a good promotion, man. That was a good promotion.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna mess it up with my own words. No, I appreciate the kind words, and I am single, so I'm not the.
Hey, Cal single. Let's go. We 3 men.
There he is, folks, in the comments. Go get him.
Okay. Right. So we'll get. So there was a comment that says Kevin Samuels struggled. Let's put that up here because he conformed himself to attract the high quality woman he thought being the key word there, he wanted. I'm that process he ran further from. Okay.
I think what you mean from his problems instead of addressing them. You basically covered it up by presenting as successful, I think is what she's saying. You know, maybe obviously considering the way he died, it would indicate that, you know, he tried to present as if, but maybe he wasn't really all there. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone out that way.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I watched somewhere around 20 hours trying to research. It was tough, man. I had to listen to some sermons, some Disney movies to kind of wash that taste out of my mouth. But he did make some good points. And what I will tell you is one of the points he made was that he himself, like, married a woman with a child, right? And there was an issue because he was like, hey, man, if I'm going to provide all this stuff for you, as he makes, you know, I think his net worth was somewhere around $4 million. Nothing crazy, but he did well. So he says, if I'm going to pay for education and all these things, like, I need to be able to get him on program the way I think is appropriate, which means the training and all of that stuff, right? And I guess she disagreed, and that eventually led to them getting a divorce. And he was married again, and he talks about his faults. He talks about his faults and where he was and where he is now. And all he said was, in my 50s, I'm not trying to do all that, man. And I'm telling you, I'm in the room with these other men, these quote unquote high value men. I'm in the room with them, and they're saying the same thing. I'm not trying to deal with all that. So if you're saying that you want what you perceive as a high value man, then here's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to be perfect body shape, right? You're gonna have to be subservient. You're gonna have to be okay with him cheating. He had a whole list. But he says also
that was on his list.
That was on his list.
You got to be okay with me cheating on you.
Oh yeah.
He said that out loud, like with his mouth.
Loud, all the way out loud. But he also gave an alternative. If you're a woman working at Walmart and you think you're a 5 or 6, according to your own words, get you another Walmart dude. Why are you aiming for 5? Why do you think you deserve $500K and above? And you're not willing to do the things that these men are actively asking for. So he was very, very specific. And here's one of the examples I can find. So let's see if it's gonna work this time. I don't know, folks.
I'm supposed to settle for a
now wait, bro. Can we pause first? Can we pause?
Sure.
Now, before we get off into this, because they wasn't able to do this shit. Now, no knock to my queen that's here on the screen, my brother, but she's about to ask for some 7-figure nigga, ma'am. You're not in the position to get him with this cheetah nightgown that you got on right now, and this half fucking comb head you got. You know what I mean? Like, there's a whole lot of shit you got to do before you can start asking for a 7-figure nigga. All right, and you ain't begun to do the shit. All right, now he didn't say that. He didn't tell you that, but it's real. I can't ask for Oprah, right? I can't ask for Oprah and come up here with my motherfucking hair ain't cut and I'm goddamn looking crazy all in the face. This is just the starter. This is just what you're looking at right off the back.
You know what?
You know
Hang
what I
on.
mean?
Let's get this beautiful queen off the screen for just a moment. Get him to frap off, producer, now. What the frap are you doing, Rick? No, you know what? I'm supposed to be cool, calm in all situations. The person who yells is not a person who's in control of himself. Woosah. First of all, you better cool it. You better cool it. Dropping any kind of B word.
Damn that.
Our black
Kevin
queen.
said she's a.
Give him the frap out of here. So here's what I'm saying.
You keep kicking.
You gotta look at this fight. Look at this fight. Look at this fight.
I do this.
Oh, come on back in. Come on back in. Here's what I'm saying. First, we got to watch our language when we're talking to our queens, black, white, otherwise. Second, we have to be careful as far as saying those types of things to her, right? It may not be what
We don't
you
have to
like.
be careful about saying those types of things. We should
Get them off. Here's what I'm saying.
You got to be careful about the kind of question.
Get them off. Here's what I'm saying. Here is what I am saying. There's somebody for everybody. She's beautiful to somebody. There's no reason to zoom in and focus on that, Mr. Rich.
She
a fellow
fine
gentleman.
as hell to a lot of people. But if you're looking for a 7-figure nigga, you better go do your little more work.
So
better
now
do
we're
a little
talking
more
about
research.
specifics, right? Specifics and something he had a lot
You
of
want me to lie? I
experience
ain't
in.
gonna do it.
No, I'm not saying lie. I'm saying you can be quiet though. Okay, hold on.
I appreciate Rich's. I appreciate Mr. Rich's humor on this, but like the fact that she's saying 7 figures, that that entered in the equation of a thing that she said.
You done fucked up.
So what?
She's already fucked up.
So what? There's something that you want, David. There's something that Rich wants. There's something that Cal and myself want.
But if it's
okay, no. I don't want to focus on it. I want you to understand it is okay, ladies, gentlemen. It is okay to say what you want.
Aim high.
The next
aim
part, aim high, right? Shoot for the stars. If you miss, you're amongst the moon. That's the correct way to say it. I hate when people say it the opposite way. That is so famous.
But be prepared is what he said. You understand? He wants you to aim high, but he wants you to have your shit together too. That was the other part of the message. See, she heard the first part of the message, to aim high. Did you hear him say, have your shit together too? Did you hear that? The 7-figure, 8-figure nigga's not looking for the 4, 5, 6. He's shooting high. He's shooting for the moon. You know what I mean? And
but does he have that scarf like Kyle does?
Exactly.
Does he have that scarf like Cal? Shout out to Cal's scarf. We gotta make a Twitter Cal scarf. No, but so here's where we get into the weeds of things. Right now, we're getting to it. Ask for what you want. That is absolutely great. Dr. Jordan B. Peterson would say so.
Hashtag Cal scarf.
Hashtag Cal scarf. Thank you. Hey, DG King from Twitch. We're everywhere.
There you go.
So here's what I'm saying. I think that if you're being realistic, first of all, be raw. Be willing to be raw, look like a fool or whatever, and ask your question. But you have to engage in some active listening as well, which I think that's where she really made her mistake. Because what she's looking for is a very specific type of guy. Okay, so let's take a listen.
I am 5'3".
Dress size?
I am a medium.
Dress size? Number?
What the fuck is a medium?
He asked her.
She know what he meant.
She didn't want to say.
She want to say that big ass number.
How much did you weigh last time you weighed yourself?
157.
A goddamn lie.
Fresh face out of the shower, just your natural face. On a scale from 1 to 10, what would you rank your looks?
Natural face.
Okay, fresh face out of the shower, your natural face. You can't use 7. What would you rank yourself? 1 to 10.
Here come another lie.
Okay.
Dang,
6 is right above average. A 5 is average, right?
Let me do.
You're 5'3", 100, dress size 10, so that's above average weight. 5'3", you should be roughly dress size 4. 4'6", 125 pounds. Even if I believe you're 157, 160, you're almost 33 pounds, 33% over your ideal target weight. And you have listen. If you're average to cute looking, if you're below average health from a weight standpoint, and you have 2 children, overall, does that make you below average, average, or above average? Factor all those things in together.
Thank you, Miss Phil, y'all.
Average.
So why should you get anything over? Then why should you get above average? What do you mean settle for? You should
Yeah, but
get what you are.
I see millionaires with average women all the time.
All the time.
They don't have big chest tattoos either, and two other kids. Man,
I can't
I'm
get-
just
I
saying.
can't get
Okay,
this.
I want to. No. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Why should an average woman say she's settling for an average man?
Okay, I'll stop it there. Okay.
I feel like I could make a lot of money if I just decided to be a jackass on YouTube. Like,
No. But that's beside the point. We're not here to.
those two people deserve each other, honestly. Like, I mean,
You get a lot of that, but if you sift through all of that, right? Sometimes you gotta dig deep to find the gold, diamond, or embers, whatever, right? And what I'm trying to say is, she herself said she was average, and she felt she deserved more.
That's right.
I want you to really burn that phrase. She felt she deserved more.
Ain't nothing to burn. See, this once again, common sense ain't common. We get it, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's common to us. You know what I mean? I don't understand how somebody can say, you heard what was said. You see who's talking. I'm not about to bullshit myself. You want to bullshit yourself? You go right ahead. I really don't have the time. I've got shit to do today. And bullshitting with you ain't on the list. You know what I mean? It's not on the list. Like I said, I go back to sports, right? If you can't shoot, I'm not finna sit here and talk about, hey, yeah, that's an all right shot. It's pretty. No, motherfucker, you can't shoot. Hey, she can't shoot. She can't shoot. She can't shoot.
Here's what I'm saying. And when I say burn that in, that means I'm going to use it later, right? I consider myself a young budding author, if you will. And you can't say anything unless you plan on using it. You can't say anything in chapters 1 through 3 unless you plan on using it in chapters 12 and on.
Gotta be a
when I say deserve more, that is a reoccurring theme in this world, this country, in our separate states and cities. Right. Jasmine killed it.
Hashtag she can't shoot.
But literally deserve more. Like, these mass killers believe that they deserve more. And they went and sought out some sort of sense. And what they got was the internet. And the internet said, come on over. We got a place for you. And matter of fact, it's not, none of this is your fault. It's these Mexicans' fault. It's these black people's fault. Right? It's the rich, elitist white people. It's the poor whites. It's just whatever flavor that you like. Right? The ideal of a con is that the people who are being conned desperately want that to be true. Because if that's true, that's something I can do something about. I can go shoot up a school and show the system what's what. You know what I mean? I can go shoot up a tops, right? I can go shoot a bunch of old black people who can't defend themselves.
Just makes you an asshole, though.
Well, that's fine, but there are plenty of those out there, right? I'm sure, at least 2 right now on the screen, right? Being the 2 co-hosts. But we do it in different ways. And what I'm saying is people that believe that they deserve more and not based on anything that they've ever done in their life.
You fucking
those
crazy.
People are dangerous. You can say crazy, but dangerous, because then you're a blank canvas. And no matter who they bump into, LG plus community, right? This wave of middle school girls who just, oh man, so I don't have to do any work. I could just say that I'm bisexual and all of a sudden I'm accepted into this large group that can't be questioned.
Rachel Dozal.
You can't be questioned, right? Otherwise you're a bigot. You can't question them. You're a bigot or any of these other things. Feeling of I deserve more with no work. I mean, look at Bitcoin right now. Hey, man, pay some money, and what we'll do is we'll make you rich. Well, what are you making? What are you giving the world, right? And you see these large dips. And what I'm saying to you, that's dangerous. Somebody who thinks they deserve more. She rated herself as average, and she believes she deserved somebody and shouldn't have to settle for some regular type dude. What is that? Where did she get this from? How did she get there?
Craig said she want Ruth Chris and she got a Wendy's budget.
Wendy's ain't Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. I hate saying that name, but yeah. Oh, Miss Phil, y'all was on it. Hold on. Wait, nope. Okay, hold on. Okay, you know what? I've done too much. I need you guys to click this link I'm about to put in the chat and come on and say your piece. Ask our guests questions. Guests, I don't know how much time you guys have. Stick around for as long as you want. If you need to dip, that's fine. But click that link right there and come on and ask your questions. Let's sort this stuff out. And in the meantime, we'll go back through. There was a question here, I think, for Mr. Rich. I thought I'll start.
I got a hard stop around 9, but until then, I'm kind of cool.
Good. Okay. So back in the chat, Miss Phil, y'all says, okay, serious question. Why is getting laid such a big deal for a guy? Do men not want a good relationship instead of just getting laid? Now, we covered this, Rich. There it is there. We covered this in our relationship series.
If I know ass is a part of the relationship, I'm going to go ahead and start about this early, right? I'm not going to wait 6 months in and figure out if this ass is the right ass, right? I'm going to get this under the control early, Miss Phil, y'all. So it's not that it's just so, we only care about this and not the relationship. No, I care about the relationship, and I know that you're not going to keep me in the motherfucker if the ass ain't worth 2 quarters to rub together. You understand? So,
but isn't that a problem though? Look, I'm gonna go to Cal because he works with a lot of teenagers, right, Cal? Click that link if you want to come on. There it is. Oh, hold on, I got you muted here. Sorry about that. There you go. You work with a lot of teenagers. Do you see this sort of delusion in them? Like, I'm about to be a rap star. I'm about to be a high value gangster, right? I'm about to live like Pablo Escobar, whatever.
I have to be honest. Anytime I hear Kevin Samuels, I lose a lot of brain cells. Some shit up here dies, and it's. I have to reset before I come back on.
Oh man.
Honestly, I'm not the person to answer that. I know
you just did.
It's like
you just
facts, big facts.
Big facts.
I don't have that type of work experience with children to give a general answer, but I do see a pattern of a very limited scope of ceilings and aspirations for people romantically and career wise at that age. I'm sure that that's something that affects everybody, but culturally I notice it, but that's because I tend to work in a specific culture. Good question.
Yeah, man.
Good answer. Honest answer. And that's real. A lot of kids don't know because they've never seen. They have no clue what's out there, what they can do, what they can be. So let's do a better job of teaching them, showing them. You understand? This is why we're dressed like this today. Kevin Samuels did do some good things. Yes, he killed some fucking brain cells. But do you know what he did? He taught a nigga how to smell good. Know why? Because they like that shit. You know what I mean? Told me put a suit on. You know what? They like that shit. So there's a few things that he said that they do like, right, that we got to run with. He told me to be a responsible man before I go out here looking to have any reign over these women, right? He told me to do some things to take care of myself, right, before I expect anything out of her. And I have to say that, thank you, sir. Thank you for that. You know what I mean? If all of our fathers had told us that, we'd be better as a race. I must say.
I'm gonna have to say I think Kevin Samuels is an idiot's for. Now, Kevin Samuels is a white person's vision of what a black man should be.
Ooh. Okay, hold on. I want to hear bass. We'll get to you, Miss Phil, y'all. Wait a minute. Get him to the big screen. Thank you, producer.
Kyle, man.
Wait a minute. I need you to explain that, elaborate times.
He definitely said it, didn't he? Let's have it.
Oh, yeah.
He's muted. Kyle, you're muted, sir.
Yeah.
Give us all
I'm not going to lead with Kevin Samuels. I'll answer any questions if anyone has a direct one, but I'm not going to give that much of my attention. What I see is a bigger problem, and I think that's where you all were headed, which is the condition of women in general, so that they need or feel that they need a Kevin Samuels to tell them how to get their shit together.
Thank you.
I love to poke around there.
I like it. What you said is to the woman that called in with them, both of them, right? It was two women with two dumbass different things that they said. First and foremost, where the fuck is your daddy? Yeah, because that should have been the first Kevin Samuels, right? Your daddy should have told you, that's the dumbest shit I ever heard in my motherfucking life. Like, before you run this shit past your man, you should have to say it to your daddy, your uncle, somebody with a little more sense, right? So somebody who could tell you, you out your motherfucking mind. And I'm not gonna say that we shouldn't have to too. Maybe we should have to speak these things to our mothers and our aunties before we run them past these women. Because sometimes we say some bullshit, you know what I mean? But that works both ways, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being accountable, you know what I mean? That helps us being accountable to each other.
Yeah, man. Look, I agree. So I like man. Cal's got such a big brain. I love it. I wish I could just magic school bus myself into his thoughts and just wander around and just pick up paperwork. Go, interesting, because that's exactly what we try to do on the show. First of all, I am so sorry for not giving the show rules. Everyone is a little bit right. Everyone is a little bit wrong. Everyone has something of value to share. This drives my wife nuts because she believes, no, not everybody. But if I'm saying to you, if a Kevin Samuels is saying like, no, you got to be this, that, and the third, and all these things, like you have to be okay with your man cheating. And he's going to provide that lifestyle that you want, but be okay with him cheating. I get that. But I'm saying there is something of value. He always says, if you're looking for that specific type of dude.
That's it.
Yeah, he also talks at length.
What he said.
Right, but he also talks at length. He says the best. So first of all, his idea of a 10, Kelly Rowland. His idea of a woman who carries themselves with confidence, grace, and the right amounts of disagreeableness and agreeableness, Grace Jones. That people often down for looking like a man. You understand? So it's not just these things. These are the things that get highlighted because this is what our state of society is at, right? The State of the Union, it's not good. It's not good. And I love that Kyle is willing to explore that past Kevin Samuels or any of those guests, as Craig Jude states that, you know, hey, if those are the type, okay, hold on, right there. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do Craig's voice. If old Kevin had those type of engagements as his average engagement, no wonder he won. He picked his fights well, except that's a very small percentage, but that's what made him go viral because that's what we like. We talk often and at length about how people, like, we just kind of let politics do whatever they want. So the politicians are looking at the people who are engaged, and you know who's engaged? The major corporations. That's why it's illegal to even study gun violence of certain natures in this country, because the NRA absolutely has a chokehold on one of the parties. And here we are. We all sit and just have to just whatever, accept it. Like there's nothing we can do, except we could do something. And that's what these people are saying. You can do something. Get people together to vote. Educate yourselves. Demand better. Aim for that 500K above range. But if you don't make it, make sure you're treating that average worker who makes 50 to 80K a year like the king that he is. Men, make sure you're treating your women like the queen that she is. No one talks about those things that Kevin Samuel said. So I like looking at the totality of a person. I say maybe 5% were engagements like that. But mostly he talked to incels, he talked to other businessmen, and he talked to other high-value women. They call themselves the FBI, right? And the CIA, I forget the acronyms, but the idea that they pushed him and he was glad for it. He said the best thing, women, that you can hope for is a good church man who's willing to work hard. That will lead you to happiness.
That's it.
But if you think that you don't want that and you want a number, well, shallow people expect shallow things in return. So he gives them the advice that they ask him for and book sessions and paid this man to tell him. So my real question before we go to Miss Phil, y'all, is what is it that we actually value as individuals, as family members, as people in relationships, outside of relationships, country, whatever? What is it that we value? Miss Phil, y'all, the floor is yours.
I think that we need to learn to love our neighbors and quit putting a value, a money value on someone. I think that's really what the problem is. I don't like you because your hair's not this color, your body doesn't look this way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a lot of what our problem is today, that we need to learn to love ourselves first before we can love somebody else. That's how I see it. I quit giving a flip about what people thought of me or how I looked or how I didn't look. And when I learned to love me and did for me, I broke all those chains of what was going on in society, and I dress for myself and how I look when I look in that mirror. And if I like what I see, then that's the way I'm going out. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. I make my own fashion. I don't follow fashion in Paris or whatever. I just don't. I don't care. And
Can I ask you a question? Do you when you dress up or put on makeup and things like that, are you doing that for other people or are you doing it for yourself?
I don't wear makeup, but yeah, when I dress up, I dress for myself. I pick my clothes for myself because I'm not looking for a guy, because a lot of the women that I know, they want somebody to complete them. I don't need anybody to complete me. And I'm not being, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not being sarcastic or I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying I'm confident enough in being by myself and paying my own way that I don't need.
I think what he's saying is, why did you comb your hair this morning?
Because I've always combed my hair and I want my hair to look nice for myself.
Right.
Okay, there's a lot of women that didn't comb their hair this morning, right? And they don't have to worry ever, not even a little bit, right? About the guy that's walking outside and said, man, hitting on them every few minutes, doing the cat calls. They won't have that problem. You know what I mean? They wake up, don't comb their hair, don't brush their teeth. There won't be. I know that myself. If I wake up in the morning, if I don't brush my hair, if I don't brush my teeth, if I don't iron my clothes, certain things, I won't get a bit of attention. I'm talking about not the slightest, good nor bad. Well, I might get bad attention, but I certainly won't get any good attention. You know what I mean? So it's like a subconscious thing where, a person can say, I can say all I want to, hey, I do this for me. I don't just do this. If it was just me on the island, you think I'd give a fuck about my hair?
Well, I get what you're saying.
You saw Tom Hanks on that island. He didn't get up and comb his goddamn hair. He was fat as shit after 3-4 months out there eating fish and crab and shit, whatever he had to do to survive. That's what you'd be doing. We do this shit every day because we know another motherfucker looking at us. Regardless of who it is, people's opinions matter to us. If they did not matter to us, we would not talk about this shit. We wouldn't be going back and forth about other people's business and what they got going on. I wouldn't have this fucking jacket on. You understand? Everybody does this shit just based off of what the next person is thinking. Now, there's a line to be drawn there, though. And you decide where that line is that has to be drawn. If you want everything to just be about appearance, live your life that way. But at some point, you got to make this shit real. At some point, it's not just about appearance. At some point, it's about, yeah, I got up and combed my hair and I did this and I did that, but fuck you if you're not trying to make me happy. If happiness ain't what you got on your mind when you look at me, you won't have me. And I think that's where you coming from, Miss Phil, y'all. I think, but you let me know.
Okay, quick rebuttal, Miss Phil, y'all, and we'll get back to the task here.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I'm me, and this is you get what you see. I mean, you get what you see, what you get, and I don't try to please the other person. I mean, this is me. I mean, I'm nice. I'm not rude, but I don't try to. I don't. I don't play games. I'm not a game player. This is just what you see is what you get.
The reason why I asked in the first place is because the vibe that I got off of you is that you may present yourself a certain way, or you're just generally taking care of yourself because you're doing that for you. You didn't do it to if I saw you on the street, right? You didn't do that because you're hoping to get cat calls or compliments or positive attention from passersby. If you're taking care of your appearance, it's because you care about yourself.
Correct.
That's kind of where I was going with that, which it's important. Yeah, and there is a social element of getting that positive feedback from other people. But if you've taken that to the point that you're only living and are only taking care of yourself for that reason, that's not going to hold up. I mean, and that's why. I mean, that's one of the reasons why incels end up like incels is because they have this very shallow view with regards to appearance and validation. That goes back to the whole sex question. Is like, why is sex so important to guys? It's validation. If you talk to any incel, just about any incel on the planet, they won't pay for sex, even though sex is super important to them. They will not go get a prostitute. Why? Because they had to pay for it. And that means that they didn't accomplish something by getting
It's not
laid.
real. It's not real.
It doesn't count because they had to
It's-
pay for it. There's no validation behind it. And then what they're looking for 100% is validation, and through all of the most shallow avenues possible. It's the entire wrong kind of thinking. Both the guests on Mr.
Do they
Samuel's
make
show,
validation pussy?
apparently for some people.
But it's okay. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
You ever heard of a trophy wife? I mean, that term comes around for a reason.
Yeah, but hang on.
That's
'cause that
validation
trophy wife
pussy.
isn't just arm candy. She's also helping
really
run
said
the
that.
business.
All right.
Okay, but that's different people's definitions. So I want to address this. Thank you, Miss Phil, y'all, for coming.
Trophy
on.
husband, too.
Thank
I'll
you.
be-
Have
I'll
a
be-
wonderful night.
Absolutely.
Y'all be good.
Yes, ma'am.
It
Yes,
goes
ma'am.
both ways.
So here's what I'm saying. He says, I got a trophy wife. This comment here. Kevin was living on appearance, life caught up. I wish he'd click that link.
Hey man, real shit. Real shit.
Push that link. So what do
Real
you think
shit.
she means by that, fellas? We'll
I
try to go
think
rapid
she
fire
means-
here. Keep it concise, Mr. Rich.
Okay. I think she means like these bitches on Instagram taking all these funny ass pictures, like these niggas doing the same thing to follow suit. Yeah. So you said don't say too much, right? I think y'all got what the fuck I said.
Okay, Mr. Popiden.
With regards to what, I think I've lost track of the thread here.
Okay, no, so we're talking about this comment that Kevin was living on appearance and life caught up. I don't think so. I do not agree, but go ahead, Mr. Popiden.
It's not like 100% one and 0% of the other, but I think there was a lot he was trying to present as appearances to say this is how I'm acting as if until fake it till you make it, presenting what he wants his image to be to the world as an influencer because he's making money by doing it. It's exactly, there was a comment earlier about he kind of picked his audience members, right? The people who call in are the most ridiculous low-hanging fruit. So when he tells them what's what, you say you want someone who can make 7 figures and you're a 5 on the numbers. It's super easy. It's shooting fish in a barrel.
Hang on.
I can do that too. I mean, I really could.
Hang on. Let's clear something up. I told you in the 20 hours of this guy I watched, that was not even, and that's a conservative number.
It's not representative. Okay.
5%. But nobody wants to talk about it. So I'm not here to talk about Kevin Samuels. Frap Kevin Samuels, may he rest in power. What I want to talk about is why people flock to that. And not when he's telling incels to, hey man, there's nothing wrong with jerking off. How about take a shower, read more, work out.
There's nothing wrong with that
yourself
stuff.
out there.
There's nothing wrong with that stuff.
But
There's
that
really
stuff
not.
doesn't sell, Popiden.
I
It
know.
doesn't sell.
Right.
So here's the bigger
that's the
problem.
better message. That's the better message.
Comment.
That's
hilarious.
You got
Get him
a
off here.
lot of these
Get
guys out
Rapid
here.
Jude off of here, Zilla. Stop it. Stop what? Get on here and explain yourself. I don't understand what you're saying. Quit acting like you ain't Ben Shapiro for dating advice. Get the frap out of here. Here's what I'm saying
That
to
is
y'all.
hilarious.
Here's what I'm saying to y'all. It's not about Samuels. It's about these desperate men and women who were seeking a person like his advice. It's
That's it.
ridiculous. So
My-
we
my
got to start
counter to
looking at
all
the.
this-
Hold on, David.
All right,
We got to start looking at the actual problem. Why is it that someone who works at Walmart believes they deserve a $500K or more husband? That not only
'Cause
does
Cardi
that, but
B
he's
said so.
say
That's
again.
Because Cardi B and the City Girls said.
Yeah, but this is before that, Rich. This precedes Cardi B. This made Cardi B.
Hey,
This made the City Girl.
The
It made
problem,
the City Boy.
the problem is not. I mean, there is a problem with someone who, let's say, works at Walmart and thinks that they should be with somebody who's bringing down, all kinds of money. The problem is thinking in those terms at all in the first place, rather
That's
than
it.
taking care of your own life
That's it.
and seeing to your own happiness and things that will self-actualize you as a person. What's important to you should be
That's
more.
it.
I mean, I know there's enough people working paycheck to paycheck, right? And it's hard out there for a lot of people. I understand and respect that. But you have to look beyond just numbers if you're looking for value in your life. You gotta reach deeper than that. And if you're
it.
only hitting that surface level, like, you've already got a problem.
That's it.
Can't put a cap on somebody's
Shouts
face.
out to Juice Podcast.
Hey,
who
and
says, hey,
Well, I did.
shout
anything-
out to that.
Topic.
Shout out to
hang
that,
on,
right?
Hang on.
But
Anything is possible. You can't put a cap on somebody's faith.
no doubt.
So here's what it is in a nutshell. Here's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for to try to figure out all these things at once, right? Why does the incel exist? Why do these mass shootings keep happening? Why do we allow these companies to control the politicians who keep wages the same while everything else, cost of living and production, goes up? What is the real problem? The real problem is we're not stepping up. We're not getting the information from the right places. My wife works at a bank, and when she was telling me, like, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. If you're trying to start a business, your bank should be able to help you write out a business plan for free. Why are so many business owners struggling? Because we're not going to the right places to get our information. There's a clip
Because
of this
we
guy
don't
talking
value
about
the right things.
But I think we do, but we don't value how to get them. We value money, but we don't want to hear frapping Warren Buffett say, I spent the last 30 years building up my wealth and then gave most of it away. Who the frap wants to hear that? Well, I don't know if I'm going to eat next week. I don't have time. I don't have time. Now, there's a stat out there. This guy went to a prison, an all-male prison, and he said, I need y'all to stand up. I need y'all to stand up if you didn't have a father in your life. 90+% stood up. Same thing at the women's prison. And then he went talk to youths. And this guy who says, I'm about to just quit being the principal. I can't handle it. They just don't care about themselves or anything else. So they definitely don't respect me. They just don't care. And so he went to address them. He said, stand up if you don't have a daddy at home. 85 to 90% stood up. So as we look at something like this, and I know you're not a religious person, but again, I feel like if we can learn lessons from Lion King, we can learn lessons from just about anything, right? Let's see if we can extract some wisdom. Thoughts?
I didn't
even take it to church.
One, I'm an atheist. Two, I object strenuously to most of that. And three, I also don't have the time to expound. So that'll have to be like a teaser grenade that maybe I can come back on and chat with you gentlemen some other time. I understand the need to raise people, boys, girls, whatever, that you need to have a loving household, something that is teaching values that are important rather than just what is superficial in life. I can understand all of that. I think we, in a lot of ways, have lost our way as a society in terms of understanding and instilling those things in boys, girls, whoever, in the next generation. But I think we are punting by appealing to really archaic, like, gender role stereotypes about who's supposed to do what in order to make those things happen. And again, I understand that it'd be controversial. And I don't have time to, so just as I ended my podcast yesterday, I award myself 0 points for saying any of that.
Hold on. You'll have to come back. But one quick point, because you can't flip over in the book Go to page 7, read it, and then go, yep, I like it or I hate it. Right? But here's what I'm saying to you, Mr. Popiden, because I know you got to go. Everybody's got to go. I'm so sorry for going so long. Here it is in a nutshell. Here it is in a nutshell. If he's saying that the responsibility is on the father, you got to look at what else that means, right? Even if you look at the Bible and says the number one thing, you have to love God before anything else. Well, then the most important question is, what does it mean to love God? And here's what I'm saying to you, right? Not trying to convert anybody or anything. We got to start zooming out. Just like Mr. Jude talks about the market. He's a day trader, extraordinary legend in that field, right? He says you can look at these little dips and get worried and flustered, but if you zoom out and see a positive trend over a long period of time, a larger sample size, then you're on to something. So when he says it's the responsibility of the father, it's not this thing that he's just somebody who just rules over his wife and children like cavemen. The idea of responsibility is the same idea behind a CEO. We at this company are equal in being, but not in function. And if you're telling me that the male patriarchy is one of the biggest problems, the biggest threat to women, men. The biggest threat to the environment, men. All these things, men. So how is it wrong to say that we got to start teaching these men how to do it? And Samuels, Peterson, pastors, whatever, they seek to do that. Coaches seek to do that through sports. So that's a topic for another day.
Topic for another day. I will say that I definitely appreciate that sentiment. The way it comes out is not always helpful, is what I'll say to that. But you're absolutely right. I mean, it's not like men should bear no responsibility whatsoever. I think it's extremely important. I participate in a philosophy group. We meet once a month. We talk about mature masculinity, what it means to be a man, and what responsibilities that conveys. That we're not trying to eschew, manliness, masculinity, and say, oh, it's bad, it's wrong, don't be masculine. No, we are. That is who we are, but what's the right way to live our lives in that mode, essentially? So, and that'll be my final point.
Hold on, you gotta tell the people where they can find you so you can elaborate on such social constructs. Go.
Oh man. Okay. So again, I am David Popiden. I host the Fermenting Opinions podcast. You can find us on iTunes Beyond Pod. We are on Facebook and YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Hit the little bell so you get the notifications when I go live. I will do things that are topical, and I will as well just do kind of panel discussions, not all that different than kind of how we did tonight. And again, thank you so much for having me on, man. You guys, this was a lot of fun. And it's fun not to be the host. I get to run my mouth a little bit rather than than just manage the conversation for other people. I get to talk. Shit, it's great.
I'll put out 12 fires back here, man. I know.
I need to fire on the music and stuff like that. And your little intro video, like I'm getting some tips from you guys. Hey, trust me. Like I just like to do the thing. I'm not so good at making it fancy. So you guys are inspiring me. So thank you.
Thank you, man. With the hat, you find him at Fermenting Opinions podcast.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, man, for joining us.
So then there were two, and what I'm saying to you guys is like we got to do better at zooming out. Like Craig said, when in doubt, zoom out. We got to stop getting so stuck on the man belongs at the head of the household. Ain't no man go. That's the problem. Your question, I think, should be, well, what does that mean? That means if my wife works in the financial industry, guess who's going to take care of the money and the bills? You understand that? If I'm better at doing laundry, maybe I'll do the laundry. And Rich, a few shows ago, we already destroyed the ideal of men are this way, women are that way. No. What exists in reality is men. There are some masculine and feminine men and some masculine and feminine women. And we have to do the work if we want a worthwhile conversation, worthwhile relationship, whatever. It's not about Kevin Samuels. It's not about Jordan Peterson or any of these people. It's about you. If you don't like how your life is going right now, it's something that you are lacking. And you need to find it out by having an honest conversation with yourself. Because as Peterson says, you can't save the world if you haven't cleaned your room. As Craig writes in, oh, this guy, cynical. So that let's see, so that how you will. Okay, maybe I'm the Kevin Samuels in the market. Yeah, you're realistic and you don't care about hurting people's feelings. But what are we willing to do? What are we willing to do about these mass shootings and otherwise? About these horrific relationships? About these dirty business dealings? What are we to do? And if you guys are saying that man is a problem, then yeah, we're gonna all have to focus on men and we're gonna have to figure this out. Because I will say that Kevin Samuels and Peterson and even your boy Ben Shapiro, as much as you guys like to just point out only the negative viral stuff, they are saying the same thing. Just like that pastor said, men need to step up, figure themselves out, do better, and then lead a family. Don't make the same mistake that some of us do, which is you put the cart before the horse. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have sex with this girl and then try to figure out everything else after. And then you wonder why we are sitting at 51% of marriages ending in divorce, why our kids are out of control. This dude shot his grandmother in the face and then shot up an elementary school. We have to do something. Maybe we don't like how Samuels talks, but maybe we need those distractions for these people so they're not picking up weapons and joining these crazy groups. But that's just me. Rich, as per usual, last word, my man.
Hey, man. Once again, thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Urban Academia. And as we know, common sense ain't common. You know what I mean? But what we do have to do is we have to learn to take a little bit more accountability per human being, per individual. All right. So we may not have it figured out as far as what everybody should do in totality, but you figure out what it is that you can do, add to the world, make it better that way. All right. Everybody else, be honest with yourself. Try your best to do that. I think a lot of the Kevin Samuel shit got blown out of the water with, because he was talking to certain people certain ways. But, at the end of the day, all he was saying was be honest with yourself. That's what I heard. So much love to everybody that joined in and watched. Much love to anybody who's actively seeking to improve yourself and improve your life. Keep moving on that path. We love you. Common sense ain't common, and we'll catch y'all next Saturday. Peace.
For you.